In the last video, we defined standard deviation as a measure of how spread out our data is compared to the mean, and we showed how to calculate it by hand. So if our standard deviation is a big number, it means that the data is very spread out compared to the mean. And if our standard deviation is a small number, it means most or all of our data values fall very close to the mean. So we're going to take the same example we used in our last video, and I'm going to show you how to calculate the standard deviation with your calculator. Now, something that's really nice about this particular calculator trick is that the calculator actually will calculate the mean for you as well. So, we've got the same example, and we need to set up a list. And this list is going to have all of our data values in it, because the calculator needs all the data before it can calculate the standard deviation. So we're going to hit Edit, and that gets us into our list area. Let me just quickly show you how I got there. So I hit the Stat button, and then I hit Enter to edit. And that gets me into my list, and now I just need to enter my 5 values. So my scores from my, six values. My scores from my 6 core courses that I took at school this year. So I have 82% in English, so I type in 82 and then I hit Enter. I have 75% in social, 85% in math, 87% in biology, 80% in chemistry, and 76% in physics. So now that I have all the values in my calculator, I am ready to calculate their standard deviation and average. So I hit the Stat button again, and that takes us here. But instead of editing this time, because I have already edited and made my list, I want to use the arrow and go over to Calc. And I want to use this one var stats. And what that means is one variable statistics. So you're calculating the statistics for only one thing, one column, one set of data. So that's what I want to do. So I'm going to hit Enter. But I have to be careful because right now it doesn't know what to calculate the statistics from. So I have to tell it what list or where I put my data. So as a quick reminder, my data is in L1, list 1. And I always use second mode to quick places. So I need to type in list 1, but you'll notice list 1 is over here and it's in yellow, meaning I can't just hit the 1 button. I actually have to hit the second function that matches that yellow list 1 color, and then 1. And now you'll see it says list 1. Now I can hit Enter, and it's done all the calculations for me. So my X bar, there's my mean, 80.83, just like we calculated by hand, so we know we were right. And here's my standard deviation at the bottom here, the little sigma sign, and that is 4.37. So once again, it matches what we calculated by hand. And we even have the number of pieces of data listed there. That's your N value. And we get lots of other pieces of information too. This tells us our lowest score, our median score, and our highest score. But the big things to know from this one var stats list are the mean and the standard deviation. So hopefully that video was helpful to show you how to do it on the calculator. It's fairly simple and quick. So that may be a method that you want to use rather than calculating it by hand, because calculating it by hand is a lot longer. But you do have to remember how to do it. So remember, everything's under this Stat button. You hit Enter to edit and make a list, so you can make a list there. If you wanted to clear your list, if you wanted to clear your list, you'd hit Stat again, and you'd hit that Clear List button there, and Enter. But did I tell it which list to use? No. So I need to put in the same entry again. So I use the second button and the Enter button to put in the same entry. And this time I'm going to tell it which list. So that's another little trick. So now my list is clear. I can type in my values, and then we go into Stat again, Calc, and our one var stats, and then we just tell it which list and hit Enter. So it's all fairly simple. simple and quick. So hopefully you found that video helpful.